What if I told you that with one tiny chip and a handful of parts, you can make a circuit that counts 60 seconds every time you press a button? No code, no microcontroller, just pure electronics magic. Hey guys! In this video, I'll show you how to make a 1-minute timer circuit with a 555 timer and a few components. Stay tuned to the second part of this video, where I'll explain how this circuit works. I've packed my favorite 555 timer projects into a free ebook. Yep, totally free. Don't miss it. Click the link in the description to get yours. Here are all the components you need to set up this circuit. 8 jumper wires. 156 kilo ohm resistor. 1 10 kilo ohm resistor. 1 push button switch. 1 green LED. A 9-volt battery buckle connector. A 9-volt battery. 1 555 timer IC. 1 1000 microfarad capacitor. A breadboard to connect everything together. The 555 timer IC comes with 8 pins. There is a notch or a dot on the chip's body. Pin 1, located at the top left, serves as the ground or ground supply. Pin 2, the trigger pin, initiates the timing interval in monostable and astable modes. Pin 3 serves as the output, providing the timer's operational result depending on its mode: monostable, astable, or bistable. Pin 4, the reset pin, is used to reset the 555 timer's internal flip-flop. Pin 5 serves as the control pin, enabling you to adjust the threshold voltage levels used by the internal comparators to set and reset the flip-flop. Pin 6, the threshold pin, monitors the voltage of the capacitor in the circuit. Pin 7, the discharge pin, manages the timing capacitor's charge and discharge cycle. Pin 8, known as VCC, supplies power to the IC. Let's set up the circuit step by step. Begin by positioning the 555 timer on the breadboard. The pins are numbered counterclockwise, starting from the top left corner. Refer to the later circuit diagram if you have questions about the circuit connections. Insert the 555 timer in the middle of the breadboard. A jumper wire connects pin 1, or ground, to the negative rail. A jumper wire connects pin 8, or VCC, to the positive rail. Use a jumper wire to connect pin 4 or reset to pin 8 or VCC. Insert a jumper wire into pin 6 or threshold and pin 7 or discharge. Bend the ends of a 56 kilo ohm resistor. Insert a 56 kilo ohm resistor into pin 7, or discharge and the positive rail. Insert a jumper wire into pin 3, or output, and a few rows below the 555. Insert a green LED into the same row as the jumper wire and the positive rail. The anode is in the positive rail. Insert a jumper wire into pin 6 or threshold and a few rows below the 555. Insert a 1000 microfarad capacitor into the same row as the jumper wire and the negative rail. The cathode is in the negative rail. Insert a jumper wire into pin 2 or trigger and a few rows below the capacitor. Insert a push-button switch into the same row as the jumper wire. Insert a jumper wire into the same row as the switch and the negative rail. Bend the ends of a 10 kilo ohm resistor. Insert a 10 kilo ohm resistor into the same row as the switch and the positive rail. It's time to connect the power supply. Connect the 9-volt battery buckle connector to the 9-volt battery. Insert the positive lead to the positive rail. Insert the negative lead to the negative rail. I'll press the switch and start the stopwatch. After roughly 60 seconds, the green LED lights up, right on time, exactly as the circuit was designed to do. Let's dive into the circuit and break it down step by step. This circuit is a 555 timer used as a delayed-on monostable, where the output does not immediately change when the button is pressed. Instead, pressing the button starts a timing cycle, and after about 1 minute, the LED turns on. Once the LED turns on, it stays on until you press the button again, which resets the circuit and starts a new 1-minute delay with the LED off. Pin 4 and Pin 8 are tied directly to the supply voltage, which ensures the chip is always enabled. Pin 1 is connected to ground. The LED is connected to Pin 3, the output, so whenever the output goes high, the LED turns on. The timing action is controlled by resistor R2 and capacitor C1. Pin 6 and Pin 7 are connected to the junction of R2 and C1, which is the classic monostable timing configuration. When the capacitor voltage rises to 2/3 of the supply voltage, the 555 changes state. With the values shown, the charge time of C1 through R2 is about 1 minute, based on the standard 555 timing relationship. The push button switch and R1 are used to control the trigger input on Pin 2. Under normal conditions, R1 holds the trigger pin high. When you press the push button, Pin 2 is momentarily pulled low. This low pulse is what arms the timing cycle, but unlike a normal monostable where the output changes immediately, the key behavior here comes from how the output and discharge transistor interact with the capacitor voltage. When you press the button the first time, the trigger causes the internal discharge transistor on Pin 7 to turn off, allowing C1 to begin charging through R2. During this entire charging period, the output remains low, so the LED stays off. The capacitor slowly charges toward the supply voltage, and after roughly 1 minute, it reaches the threshold level at Pin 6. At that moment, the 555 flips its internal latch, the output on Pin 3 goes high, and the LED turns on. Once the output goes high, it stays high. The capacitor is no longer discharging, and nothing in the circuit forces the 555 to reset on its own. This is why the LED remains on after the 1-minute delay. The timer has completed its job and latched into the on state. When you press the push button again, the trigger is pulled low once more. This action resets the internal latch and re-enables the discharge transistor on Pin 7. The capacitor is rapidly discharged to ground, the output immediately goes low, and the LED turns off. As soon as you release the button, the circuit is back in its initial state, ready for another timing cycle. On the next button press, the exact same process repeats. This circuit is designed to create a 1-minute delay, but that timing isn't fixed. If you want the LED to turn on sooner or later, you can easily change it. The delay is set by resistor R2 and capacitor C1, and adjusting either one will change how long the circuit waits before the LED turns on. The timing is calculated using the standard 555 timer equation. T equals 1.1 times R2 times C1. For the 1-minute timer, R2 is 56 kiloohms and C1 is 1000 microfarads. When you plug these values into the timing formula, the result comes out to about 61.6 seconds, which is close enough to 1 minute for most practical applications. To change the 1-minute timer into a 30-second timer, change the 56 kiloohm resistor with a 28 kiloohm resistor. The result comes out to about 30 seconds. To change it into a 5-minute timer, change the 28 kiloohm resistor with a 272 kiloohm resistor. The result comes out to about 5 minutes. I hope this video has shown you how to make a 1-minute timer circuit with the 555 timer. Want to dive deeper into 555 timer projects? Grab my free ebook packed with awesome circuits and ideas. Just click the link in the description to download your copy now. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing for more electronics tips and tutorials, and hit the bell icon to never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.